Lake George Battlefield Moments, a production of Lake George Battlefield Park Alliance, preserving our area's incredible history. Here's the president of Lake George Battlefield Park Alliance, John DeNuzzo.
Welcome to Lake George Battlefield Moments. Our guest today is Matt Rogowicz, senior producer and host for WMHT, which is the PBS outlet in the Capital Region. Matt is coming to Lake George on December the 12th to be the onstage moderator for best-selling historian Rick Atkinson's appearance at 7 o'clock that night at Lake George High School. The public's welcome, and it's no cost, and come and learn more about the revolution and our region's key part in it. Welcome, Matt.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you, and we look forward to your presence here at Lake George in December. Now, first, the Ken Burns documentary on the Revolution is running on WMHT and throughout the national PBS network as we first air this episode. So what's the reaction to the series? Do you think it will spur greater interest in history and America's 250th birthday next year?
The reaction to the series has been amazing. There's such a sense of excitement with this program. This is America's greatest documentary filmmaker telling America's greatest story. It's our origin story. And, we all learn about the American Revolution in school, but for me, and, I think many others, it's kind of hard to feel connected to history when you're young. Sometimes these key figures that we learn about seem larger than life. So I do think this documentary will certainly rekindle an interest in learning about these real human figures from our shared past. And hopefully the film will inspire folks to want to dig even deeper into the revolution and pick up one of Rick Atkinson's books.
Yeah, well said. Now, you're coming up to Lake George with Rick Atkinson. You'll be asking questions on his landmark history books. This guy's a Pulitzer Prize-winning author, maybe the best-known historian in America at this point in time. How do you prepare to interview such a heavyweight like Rick Atkinson?
Yeah, well, I'm very excited to interview Rick. As you know, I was actually already reading The British Are Coming, his first book in the Revolution trilogy, when I was asked to moderate the discussion. And so, naturally I was preparing even though I didn't know it. But, I'm going to approach this just like I approach every other interview I've done here at WMHT, and that's, with humility and respect. I'd like to try to find what gets someone going, why they're passionate about a certain topic. If you can get somebody excited about talking about something, that excitement is going to translate to the audience. So, I'm prepared to go off script a little bit and see where the discussion takes me. But I know with Rick, we are in good hands, and it's going to be a great conversation. And
one of the things I've gotten from Rick in my encounters with him, a few that they've been, is that he's very welcoming to the most mundane question as well as the most intellectual. So I think he'll go over well at Lake George, which we're really, I think, very appreciative for. In talking of Lake George and Rick's appearance up here at two events on December the 12th, how special do you think it is to have Rick Atkinson, the Pulitzer Prize winner, certainly among the greatest living American historians, visit our region, engage with the public as he's going to do?
Oh, it's amazing. Rick is the real deal. He's truly one of our great historians. And like you said, he is he's so down to earth, and that's what I love about him. And what I love about his writing is he really strives to bring history to life. He gives us not only the tactical details of a specific campaign, for instance, but he also strives to make everything more human and relatable, even describing what it smelled like at the time. His writing truly has so many details that just bring this larger-than-life history into reality. He spent years and years researching the American Revolution, so for him to share some of that knowledge with us at Lake George is really a gift.
What can people expect if they attend the free public program with Rick on December the 12th, 7 o'clock at Lake George High School? You come in and we'll have the Glens Falls Symphony Brass Quartet playing, and it will be kind of a festive atmosphere to have such a star historian with us. But if, Mr. and Mrs. John Q. Public attend, what can they expect from that evening there?
It's going to be fantastic. People can expect to learn what it takes to write a series like this. The many years that Rick spent researching, we're going to learn about some of Rick's favorite figures and stories from the Revolution. And of course, being in Lake George, we'll certainly be talking about Henry Knox and his noble train of artillery. So it's going to be, educational. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be inspiring. And I'm certain there will also be time for questions from the audience, too, so they should come prepared.
That's excellent. Now, you've probably had the benefit, being a PBS person, of seeing a lot more of the forthcoming American Revolution Ken Burns series than I've had. I went to one event in Albany that previewed about an hour's worth of a clip. I know other people have seen other clips.
I haven't been privileged to have seen other parts of it, so I'm just as excited as you are to tune in at 8 o'clock on Sunday night and watch this program over 6 consecutive nights. It's going to be special. I'm excited to see how, reading Rick Atkinson's book, I'm excited to see how Ken Burns kind of condenses everything into this visual narrative. And unlike Burns's previous documentary, that he did, The Civil War, which had the benefit of having images from history from the Civil War, there's none of that for this, production. So he had some challenges himself and to try, how does he illustrate, how does he visualize this history? And I think he did it in a very creative and interesting way. So I can't wait to watch it like you guys.
Oh, very interesting. Thank you. One thing that kind of comes to mind, and you and I have known each other through a few phone conversations, but you're looking at this with much more fresh eyes than I have, or Walt Adams, or other people here at Lake George. What's your favorite part of American history?
Apart from the American Revolution, I'm going to have to say probably the 20s, just because it was such an interesting time culturally and, the economic prosperity, you had jazz, Art Deco. But for me, John, I'm a cinephile, so I absolutely love anything to do with film history. And in the 20s, of course, you had the peak of silent cinema, this amazing visual storytelling clashing with primitive sound technologies. And of course, towards the end of the decade, you had the talkies coming into the picture. But to bring it back to military history, you have the first film to win the Academy Award for Best Picture in 1927, and that is the World War I film Wings. So I encourage everyone to track it down and watch it. It is a stunning achievement, and it still is impressive today.
Well, someone who's so interested in films and cinematography and things like that, I would think absorbing Ken Burns would be like a graduate class in kind of comparing your interests with how a master such as Burns does his work.
Oh, definitely. I would love to go behind the scenes with Ken Burns and see how he does what he does. I know, it takes a lot of planning and a lot of research, just like it does to write these books. So we all see the finished product, but a lot of the heart and soul goes into it behind the scenes.
Fantastic. Well, we look forward to welcoming you to Lake George on December the 12th, and hopefully you'll be able to participate in more programs either on that day or in the future. We do have a lot of history up here at Lake George we're very proud of.
Definitely. Yeah, I cannot wait to be there.
Okay. Well, it's worth mentioning that the Lake George High School program on December the 12th is the last of 3 events that day. The first is a reenactment of Henry Knox landing in a replica bateau at Dog Beach in Lake George, then being pulled by draft horse to the entrance of Fort George, where he actually stayed for over 2 weeks in 1775. That's free. It's at 3 o'clock. Then we'll have a reception with Rick Atkinson at the Holiday Inn Lake George later that afternoon. And if you haven't purchased your ticket for that yet, I hate to tell you this, but you're out of luck. It's sold out. So there's a lot of great history is still happening at Lake George. Our website is lakegeorgebattlefield.org. We thank you for being a part of our history. And Matt, thank you loads for being a guest today. And of course, we look forward to seeing you in December.
Thank you very much, John.
Our website is lakegeorgebattlefield.org.
Lake George Battlefield Moments, a production of Lake George Battlefield Park Alliance, preserving our area's incredible history. For more information or to check out the latest podcast, go to lakegeorgebattlefield.org and listen live on Saturday mornings at 9:40 a.m. to Lake George Battlefield Moments on 93.5 Lake FM.